Okay.
So, welcome to the Holistic Kid Show. My name is Zane.
My name is Abdullah.
And my name's Imad.
We are
Nice
kids
to
who
meet
got to grow us kids from the inside out.
The teenage years.
Wait, Imad, you're still 11. You still have ways to go before you turn into a teenager.
11, 13, same thing.
For the 2/3 of us, these teenage years are training us for real adult life. The older we get, the more independent we become. With teenagers comes a lot of challenges. The waters can become choppy. So, how do we navigate the crazy water of the teenagers while staying on boat, not drowning or crashing?
Well, that's a hard question, but today we have the perfect guest with us. We are so honored to have her on our show, the one and only Dr. Siggie. Dr. Siggie is a world-renowned parenting expert that provides millions of people practical tips for all ages. Widely considered an expert in the field, Dr. Siggie lectures and teaches throughout the Los Angeles area. She has written over 50 articles on parenting and has been featured in a wide variety of publications. She also has appeared regularly as a baby expert on MTV's Rob and Big. We are so honored for you to join us on the podcast today.
So honored.
Oh, you dug that one out. That's funny. That's so long ago, MTV. Hi. Okay. So happy to be here. You tell me, guys, what do you want from me and what do you want to ask me?
Well, it's our pleasure.
It's our
our
pleasure. So, most of us teens, we all need help to navigate the crazy waters of teenage life. So, can you please tell us your story first?
My personal story of being a teenager.
Yes.
No.
Oh, I
How
mean-
did you get into helping teenagers?
Well, I have worked and I am still working with children of all ages. I love kids. I love being around them. I love talking to them. I love digging into your brains and challenging you of all ages. So I'm always curious about children and I'm always curious to know who you are, what you are, how you think, how you see things from your perspective. And that motivates me to do my work because then when I understand you guys, all of you, I can help parents, I can help your parents understand you better.
Well, that's amazing.
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 But was there a specific reason why you wanted to do this, or was it just because of your interest?
Why I wanted to do the work that I'm doing?
Yes.
Yeah.
You mean like one specific reasons? I think it's multiple reasons, but I believe that truly my advocacy for children stands at the top. I truly believe that children need well-being of their life to be in place, to be intact. And I think that most of the time, children not necessarily mistreated, God forbid, neglected or so on, but misunderstood. And therefore, they're being mistreated or mishandled. I think that teachers and parents don't often understand children, and therefore they react and respond to them not in the right way. So my goal is to help everybody better get along. I love peace and I believe in peacefulness, and so I think that one of the greatest anxieties of life is conflicts in the family. And so when parents can understand their children better, they fight less. And it doesn't mean the children get their way, and it doesn't mean that parents, give them whatever they want. That's not how we get along. Getting along is basically learning to communicate with one another better and understand each other. So parents can be there for children, push them, stand by them, navigate, mentor them when necessary, and also let them be who they are. Because I know, look, there's three of you, and I bet you have some similarities and then you have a lot of differences. You are who you are, and I want to appreciate and respect that. And I want parents to do the same. So you don't become what I want you to be, which is really nice. I want you to be what I want you to be, but I have to accept that you have to become what you want to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's a give and take.
So you're really big into like communication.
Communication that definitely betters or enhances the connection and the ability to navigate challenges. Life is not without challenges. I'm not promising, oh, your life's going to be great just because you know how to understand your kids. I'm saying when the going gets tough, that's when you really need to know how to talk, how to communicate, how to connect, how to help one another. So I think that, yes, that is, the essence of what we're doing here and what I'm doing.
Wow,
So-
you are so empowering.
So empowering.
So empowering.
So
Thank
you're
you.
saying that like communication is really big. How should parents communicate to their teens? I mean, should they communicate to them like children, or maybe like adults, or somewhere in between?
Yes, so teens are neither children nor adults. As you, the older one, and even you in the middle, how, for you, certainly, the older one, adulthood is kind of right here, right? You
Yeah.
can almost touch it, you see it. And childhood becomes a little more far away from you. But you still lack experience. Your brain is still working and forming and growing. You still are learning about yourself, not just the world around you. All of that still requires your parents to mentor and guide you. But I think the number one mistakes parents make with teens is trying to control them. Because what drives that, I can tell you honestly, fear. Parents are scared for their teenagers. And right? It's kind of like, where are you going? What are you going to do? What are you going to see? Who are you going to talk to? Right? And it also from your friends. A lot of, sort of like that kind of oppression comes from fear. So what I tell parents is not, don't worry about your teens. I'm not saying that. I'm saying be curious about them. Don't try to control them. Try to connect with them. Yes, the world is a bit scary. Yes, parents are very afraid for their teens being influenced by all sorts of stuff, right? We know that. Going down the wrong path, I don't know, being tempted. I mean, yeah. So do you control your teens? Do you hold on to them and cage them? Or do you walk alongside with them, allowing them to figure themselves out while you keep open communication? And most important, be inquisitive, not accusative. So find out about your teens. For example, and it's not like, I'm going to ask you nicely, where are you going? Yeah, that's not the point. The point is, so when you go where you go, tell me what goes on there. What drives you? What motivates you? What makes you curious? What makes you scared? When you are out there, I want to learn about you. I don't want to monitor you. I want to mentor you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's not
Yeah.
control, but it's like helping in a way.
Yes, it's kind of like, I say often it's almost like the coach and the cheerleader, but maybe also better at this point, the wise man, sort of like somebody not trying to stop you, not trying to hold you back, but helping you mold and navigate who you are just a little better by knowing, by understanding, by asking you a lot of questions, not to accuse you of anything, but to really be curious about you. And I tell parents, be curious about your children. Find out really what they're thinking. And I know, and you know that from teens, they say, oh, you don't understand, they tell
They
parents,
definitely
right?
do that a lot,
Yeah.
Or you don't know, right? So tell me, right? Instead of me, well, what do you mean? Yes, of course. And, immediately I get defensive. No, you're right. I don't always understand. Hey, that's a given. it shouldn't be a put down. So explain to me, and explain to me in your own way, because I don't, yes, I have my life and everything that I know, but it doesn't mean I know everything, especially not about your world, the way you see it, right? I want to know. I want to learn. Tell me. So we're not enemies. We're more in this together.
So our teenage years comes with a lot of challenges. Our brains are still developing. Today, teens are stuck on their devices. We are seeing in school, kids are having problems with even talking to people. Have you noticed this with teens today? What challenges are you seeing teens deal with today, and why might that not be dealing with this before? Like
Well,
why wasn't it being dealt before?
so I would say some of it wasn't being dealt this way, or we didn't have that challenge. But I can tell you this, for generations, parents are afraid for their teens. It's not new. You didn't invent that because they're devices. What? The generation prior wasn't scared about their teens, and the one before and the one before. The music they listen to, the fashion, the ideas, everything is scary, right? So now you get all the music, the ideas, the fashion, the who knows what, you get it from the devices. But it's not like it didn't exist before. It existed before, right?
Yeah.
So there are the devices now, and it's true that there is more of negative effect of the social media or everything out there, kids being on their devices. But I would say this, it's not all bad. Like we are here now, we're using technology. It's actually a great thing. So first and foremost, I would tell parents, stop being so suspicious. Stop being so accusative immediately. Like, what are you doing? What's wrong with that? In my days, I mean, really, come on. In your days, any parent probably listened to music that their parents thought it was like the worst ever, right? I mean, come on, we know that. Remember, look at the Beatles. I mean, it seems so ridiculous nowadays. The music is la, 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 la. But back in the day, it was like the worst thing ever. So we have to kind of remind parents, hey, you also challenged your own parents. So now, the devices, social media, not all bad. Can you help your children not accuse them of doing anything wrong, but help them sort of like understand themselves? For example, I would ask you guys, not tell you, oh, it's all bad for you, stop, get off your devices, blah, blah, blah. I would say, at what point, how much do you enjoy it? How much do you become like numb and oblivious? And at what point it begins to actually harm you? Do you know that? Not me telling you, do you know that? Because what is mindfulness? Is me understanding myself.
Yeah.
And knowing, when I enjoy, hey, joy is great. When I'm just shutting down, a little is okay. A lot, not healthy. When it's completely taking over and depressing me or making me feel left out or bad or wrong, do I understand that and go, not okay? Instead of me waiting for someone to say, enough, can I tell myself, I need a break? That's what I want to teach, teenagers. Like when we say to be adults, is really to manage myself.
Because I know, like, in high school, especially, like a lot of, I think maybe in middle school, but if you ask teenagers, like, what do you want from your parents? A lot of them, they say freedom, right, Zen?
I've never
I don't
really
know,
asked that question, but
in like classes, sometimes the people that say, "Oh, I just want freedom from my parents," and
Freedom, yeah.
because they refer to them as like helicopter parents sometimes as well. So how do you have a balance between just trying to help them manage their way in life and giving them that freedom, but making sure they don't make the wrong decisions?
Yeah. So first we want to ask teenagers who say that, I want freedom. What do you mean? What does it mean? Does anybody have full freedom? So teenagers have this need to hide from the adults, right?
Yeah.
It's like teenagers create almost like this parallel universe where they just want to hide from the adults. And freedom is not an absolute idea.
Mhm.
And so first and foremost, let's ask teenagers, what is freedom to you? Because do you want to be completely left alone? Yeah, my parents, wait, completely left alone? Think about it. Wait, well, no, I still want my parents to be there, to love me, to take me places, to buy me stuff. Okay, yeah. So it means you're still somewhat dependent on them, connected to them. See, a lot is reframing the mindset. When teenagers say freedom, they're not really sure what they mean. They just want what they want in the moment. I want them to think. I want them to be more responsible for the ideas that they come up with, not just rebel against everything.
Mhm.
So ask your friends, what do you mean by freedom? Well, I don't want my parents to helicopter. Okay, maybe you can negotiate, because how do teenagers try to get their freedom? Fight, push back, rebel, right? Become
Yeah.
rude. Don't talk to me, leave me alone. All these ways to get freedom. Really? Ask any teenagers who yells at their parents, leave me alone. Does that feel like freedom?
No.
No, feels like conflict actually. So it's the opposite of freedom, is conflict, right? Yeah. So maybe as a teenager, think about it. What kind of freedom do you want? What do you mean when you're asking for freedom? Can you talk to your parents about it, negotiate, give and take? Because you can't just get freedom and give nothing also as
Yeah.
a teenager growing into adulthood. So that's what I would tell teens. Of course, I would talk to the parents a little differently about that.
So, how important is listening to your teen? Because I feel like that's also a big problem, because I feel like most parents, they just tell them, like you were saying, do this, do this, do this, do this. But when it comes to listening, I think a lot of teens, they feel unheard.
Yes. And unseen, which is when they act out, so kind of like in big
Like
ways
rebellion, kind of.
to create sort of like some distraction so people notice them. I agree that when they say you don't listen to me, you can't hear me, you're not, I'm not heard. They are actually right, because parents often, again, driven by fear and anxiety, talk to and at their children, not with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say both need to learn to communicate better. It's not just on the part of the teens, storming out, slamming doors, yelling, shutting the parents out. Yeah. It's also them. Okay, I really want us to communicate better. Well, you have to do what I say and all that. Can we work at it a little differently? Can we discuss, what are my responsibilities, and how you can maybe hear me more? And if the parents were here, I would say to them, when you listen to your teens, it doesn't mean you have to give them free rein. It just means listening. Active listening is really just understanding, containing someone, validating, right? And I think most of the time when teens are demanding and this, like, leave me alone. If you ask them, do you really want to be left alone completely all the time? Well, maybe no. So it's like, when you say leave me alone, what do you mean? You don't have to yell that. I want to hear what you actually mean by that. When you say stop controlling me, what do you mean? When you say you want freedom, can you explain that to me? Yeah, that's hearing them without actually sometimes having to do anything but hear them.
Yeah, because I know our mom, the amount of times she's told us, right, Mom, like that I'm gonna treat you like an adult and not a kid, right, Mom?
Yeah.
Yeah, she says that she treats us like adults. That we have our own ideas and personalities and opinions, and that's why we don't feel like we need to rebel.
Yeah. And maybe you're not adults, right? And I think what she
Mm.
means is she's giving you the respect that you have a mind, that you have a brain, that you can think, that you can solve problems. And maybe she's not giving you everything. You're not running around the world doing
Definitely
whatever
not.
you want.
Mm.
She's keeping you, right here, but she's giving you a sense of value and respect to grow. And I think that's wonderful. She's trusting you to be the individuals that you are.
With
So-
life challenges, how can teens become more resilient or being able to bounce back from life's challenges?
Right. So, I do think that that is a very good question, because one of the things that I see more so today with parents of younger children is that they're not actually preparing them for challenges because they fix everything for them.
Yeah.
They don't let them, no, I'll do it. No, okay, fine. Right? They fix, they buy, they do, they have an answer to everything. I think we do need to let our children, be challenged by life. Like, they whine and they cry and they're like, oh, and we shouldn't like run around fixing everything for them. We should kind of have the validation, or the empathy. Yeah, that must have been tough. That really sucks. Or, I bet you didn't want that to happen. What can you do? What would you like to do? How can you solve that? Figure it out. What do you think you can do to make it better or different? Right? So
Yeah.
challenges challenges are there for us to practice our mental muscles. So the better, life is full of challenges and we can't always be prepared for everything. So we need a good support system, which brings us back to the beginning. Good communication and connection is number one key when we have a challenge. So we're not all alone. And two, have coping skills. This is our mental muscles that a challenge I'm facing is not going to break me down.
Yeah.
Maybe it's going to make me fall down, but I can get up. And it's knowing where to look for help. It's knowing who to ask. It's knowing, teens often suffer alone. And any teen out there, find somebody you truly do trust that is not your own age, someone that is a mentor that can guide you. You shouldn't feel all alone. You're not all alone.
So basically, you're saying that challenges can help you grow, and they're not always just bad.
Yeah, challenges are like the gym of life. They're the arena where we lift our weight and practice all the mental muscles to be strong, to face, whatever it is. Yeah, challenges are actually a good thing.
Because they help you learn how
Yeah.
to make sure that those challenges are easier next time.
Yes.
Like tests,
Yeah.
right?
Mm.
If you're studying for a test and it's hard, then that's actually going to make you smarter in that subject. It's actually going to help you learn more.
Yes. And you can, sometimes, oh, I can't do it. It's too hard. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. I know it's hard. Yes, some things are not easy, but I can do it. I can try again. I don't want to give up. I want to work at it. And I want to rely and trust myself and others that I can get through the challenges.
So do you think that right now do you think that a lot of teens right now, the reason why they're not like resilient in a way is because of their parents, or is there also something the teens have to do?
I mostly think it's because of the parenting. It has become way more sheltering.
Yeah.
And right, kids are way, way more sheltered today than ever before. It doesn't mean that it's not rough out there. You guys still know school is hard. the expectations, social is hard. It's a lot of that didn't change, right? And navigating and finding who you are and how you can cope with all of it is tough. But I do think that parents have sheltered their kids a little too much and are using a lot of fear tactics, like don't do this and don't go there and this is not and this is bad. And it's like we're just basically all very panicky. And I think it's good to experience some challenges and difficulties, and parents need to ask their kids when they're having a problem how they can actually fix the problem, so they're not immediately, I don't know, pulling down all these different solutions. Even, sometimes I have kids, sometimes as young as 8, 9, 10, that ask their parents to speak to a therapist. And I want you to know that is actually pretty incredible. So the kids are not just complaining or whining or struggling. They know that they need to talk to someone else. That's what teens need to know today. Find people that you trust and you can rely on to help you through the challenges.
So what is one that was so empowering and so
So I
inspirational?
was gonna say,
Say it again.
So what is one life advice that you could give us teens that can help us navigate the waters of life? Because it is pretty hard.
It's very hard. Yeah. One single advice. Let me ask you, what do you guys do to navigate? What is like the one thing that you do? Talking about, I'm curious about you as much as you are about me and what I do. What do you guys do, for example, when, it is tough out there? What do you rely on? What tools do you use?
I think one of the biggest things for me is gratitude.
You get gratitude, meditation, mindfulness, prayer,
just positivity as well.
Wow, that's amazing. So it kind of holds you together.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, the number one advice is teens, ask yourself what holds you together, not just what breaks you down, because every teen knows what breaks them down.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. What puts you back together? What holds you together? What you can trust and rely on, not just what you try to get away from. So I think that through different types of tools, such as what you're saying, positive affirmations, trusting in mentors and people that we can rely on, and we know that they're wise and they can help us, trusting ourselves, looking for help and support in all the good ways, not the, not the back alleys of life.
Because if you always see the bad, then you're only going to think there's bad out there.
Yeah, right. You're trying to run away from what you think is bad into more bad.
Yeah.
So before you run away, pause and think. And I mean that mentally, not just physically running away, It's kind of like as teens slam a door and shut down and don't, that's also a form of running away. So sit with yourself and say, I know what breaks me down. My friends don't talk to me, so-and-so, school is this, that. What puts me back together? What can I hold on to that gives me hope and resilience and trust that I'm going to be okay?
Wow, you are really inspiring, especially to me. I was really inspired and empowered. So thank you so much.
Thank you. That's so sweet. It's been a pleasure meeting you all, and I was excited all day about this.
Well, it was our pleasure.
It's
Yeah,
our
it's our
pleasure.
pleasure.
This was amazing. We know you
Amazing.
are incredibly busy, so we are thankful for your time and wisdom today. Where can people learn more about you and your work-changing,
Life-changing work.
life-changing work?
Okay. Is there a copy of this? Are you guys posting it?
Yeah, you
I
can
mean,
find this. Eventually it'll come on
YouTube.
anywhere where you can find podcasts. So Spotify, YouTube, iTunes.
okay. Will you send me a link?
Yes, we'll definitely send you
Yeah.
a link.
Okay, send me a link because I'd love to post this too.
So
Right?
yeah,
Now let's
Yeah.
recap your key points.
your
Okay.
life is not going to be without challenges. Parents today aren't letting us kids deal with challenges. Challenges are the gym of life. Challenges are there for us to practice our mental muscle. We need a support system, good communication and connection, have coping skills.
Know where to look for help. Finding someone that you really trust, like a mentor, that can guide you. Parents, please don't control us, even though we know you're not scared. That we know that you love us and you're scared for us. Please just talk to us, listen to us, and don't just talk to us. When you listen to your teen, it just means that you're helping them with their problems. It means that you're understanding and you're validating them, because in nowadays world, most teens don't get any validation. Emphasize with us. Don't solve all of our problems for us, because open communication is key. Teens, ask yourself, what puts you back together? How can you trust? Who can you trust and rely on? Because before you run away, pause and think what you can do to help yourself.
And thank you everyone for tuning in. Until next time, I'm Zain Sari.
I'm Abdullah.
And I'm Imad.
Follow my family and I on social media, Holistic Momsy, and stay tuned for our new book coming out 2025, The Teen Health Revolution, releasing 2025. Kids need to learn from other kids. Please download our podcast on iTunes and leave reviews so other kids and families can benefit. We need to create a healthy future for all of us and the planet. Join us next week for another episode of the Holistic Kid Show, where kids are empowering kids.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
Everyone.